The broken peace for a long time. The stars were quiet. The galaxy believed Earth had disappeared. No signal came from its people. No ship left their solar system. No human voice echoed in the Galactic Council. It was as if humanity had simply vanished, but Earth had not vanished. Earth had gone silent by choice. Years ago, when humanity first reached the stars, they came with peace. They offered knowledge, trade, and diplomacy. Their technology surprised many alien worlds. Some were curious, some afraid. The Galactic Council, made of powerful empires, welcomed Earth at first. But soon, fear grew. Humans were fast learners. They adapted quickly. Their machines were smart. Their soldiers, even smarter. The Council saw a threat, not a friend. So they made a decision. They denied Earth's place in the Galactic Union. They passed secret orders. Human colonies on distant planets were attacked. Council leaders called it necessary action. They claimed humans were unstable, too emotional, too dangerous. But it wasn't fear that drove them. It was power. Humanity lost thousands of lives. Peaceful settlers were burned. Communication stations were destroyed. Earth tried to fight back, but the galaxy was large, and the enemy was united. One by one, the stars around Earth turned dark. So Earth chose silence. They cut off all signals. No trade, no messages. They vanished from the maps. The Council believed they had broken humanity's spirit. They were wrong. Now, many years later, something was changing. Council sensors picked up strange readings near the edge of known space. Faint power signals, unusual movements. No one could confirm what they were. But deep in the shadows, Earth was watching. In a command base hidden under the surface of Mars. Commander Ray stood quietly, looking at a large screen. His face was calm but sharp. His eyes showed years of pain and patience. Beside him, Dr. Ellen worked on a glowing console. Her hands moved fast, typing codes and setting frequencies. She was one of the minds behind Earth's newest weapon. Not a bomb, not a missile, but a message. Behind them stood General Aaron, strong, cold, and focused. He had fought in the last war. He had lost a brother in the colony attacks. He had waited for this moment his entire life. Ray turned to the others. "It's time," he said. "Are we sure they're coming?" Ellen asked. Ray nodded. The scouts saw the fleet. Same markings, same banners. The Council thinks we're still weak. Aaron gave a short laugh. "Let them come. They won't find the same Earth." Ellen frowned. "If we do this, there's no turning back." Ray looked at her. They made that choice long ago. On Earth, people were not afraid. They had trained for years. Children learned war history beside math. Engineers worked in silence, building machines underground. The skies looked calm, but under the oceans, Earth's defense systems waited. Everyone remembered what happened. No one forgot the screams from the colonies. The Council had erased millions of lives, but not the memories. In the shadows, Earth had built a new kind of power. Ships that could bend light, weapons that used gravity. The commanders that never slept. While the galaxy watched each other, thinking humans were finished, Earth prepared. But this was not just about war. Ray had a different plan. "We send them a message," he said. Aaron raised an eyebrow. "Why warn them?" "Because they need to hear the truth," Ray replied. "They think we're silent because we're scared. They need to know we waited, we watched, and now we act." Ellen nodded slowly. "The transmission is almost ready. I included the voices from the last colony, the final recordings." Ray closed his eyes for a second. He remembered those voices. Children crying. Parents screaming. Static and fire. This time, he whispered, "They will hear us." At the edge of the solar system, hidden behind the gas giant Neptune, Earth's signal towers began to rise. Machines unfolded like flowers in the dark. Satellites aligned, engines charged. Lights blinked in sequence. The final message would be sent across the stars. Not just words, but images. Memories, proof, anger, pain, and a promise. A promise that Earth would never kneel again. Back in the Council's central system, far away, the leaders sat in high towers of crystal and gold. They drank sweet oils and watched silent space. Reports came in. Earth may be active. Movement detected. Scouts lost. But they laughed. Let them try, one counselor said. They are few, another sneered. They always cry about peace. They don't know real power. But they had forgotten one thing. Humans never forget. As Part 1 ends, Earth stands ready. Commander Ray stares into the stars. His voice is cold but clear. Send it. The first signal beams into space, carrying Earth's truth, its pain, its fury, and its warning. A voice echoes through the galaxies. You chose this war, not us. But now, we will finish it. And then, the stars were no longer quiet. Echoes of war. The message had left Earth. It traveled across the galaxy, bouncing from one system to another. It passed through wormholes, old relay stations, and forgotten satellites. No matter where it went, the result was always the same. Silence, followed by fear. The voice in the message was cold. Calm, not shouting, not angry. But it carried something deeper, a promise of revenge. You chose this war, not us. But now, we will finish it. The message played with images. Burning human colonies, crying children, broken space stations. It ended with Earth's flag rising above a silent battlefield. It was a message no one could ignore. On the Council worlds, panic began to grow. The message hit hard. In the deep halls of the Galactic Council, leaders gathered quickly. Holoscreens floated around them, showing the same video again and again. Some were quiet. Others argued. They are bluffing, shouted one leader, a tall creature with silver skin. Bluffing? That message came with perfect encryption. It broke through all our firewalls. They've been hiding and preparing. We wiped out their colonies. They had no fleets left. Then, where did that transmission come from? They used gravity pulses to bypass our signal defenses. There was silence. They had underestimated Earth again. Back on Mars, in the command base, the message was being tracked. Commander Ray stood beside a large screen that showed every planet the message had reached. So far, 37 major systems have received it, said Dr. Ellen. Any response? None, but we are listening. General Aaron crossed his arms. They're scared. That's good. It means they remember us. Ray nodded but said nothing. His thoughts were somewhere else. He remembered the day he lost his brother in the colony attack. They had been young soldiers full of hope. The Council's fleets came without warning. They bombed civilian homes, medical centers, and schools. Ray survived. His brother did not. Since that day, Ray had never stopped preparing. Across Earth, the message gave people hope. In underground cities, children gathered around screens to watch it. In deep space stations, workers stood still, listening to the voice of Earth rising again. Engineers, soldiers, and farmers felt one thing: pride. For too long, Earth had remained quiet. Now they were speaking with power. In hidden factories. On the Moon and Jupiter's moons, weapons were loaded onto ships. New stealth cruisers powered up their engines. AI systems went online. Earth's war machine had been silent for years, but it was now awake and ready. In a dark chamber deep under Earth's surface, General Aaron walked through a room filled with memories. It was a hall of lost voices. Each wall held audio, clips and photos from Earth's destroyed colonies. There were names, dates, and final messages. One recording played. If anyone hears this. This is the colony on Kepler 9. We're under attack. No warning. They're killing everyone. Static. Please tell Earth. We tried to hold on. Aaron clenched his jaw. He had listened to these recordings many times, not because he liked the pain, but because he never wanted to forget why they were fighting. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, ships of the Galactic Council started to move. Armadas were being prepared. Warships gathered near wormholes. Drones were sent toward Earth's system again. Some races still believed humans could be crushed. But the smart ones remembered history. They remembered the last war. How humanity, even when outnumbered, fought like no other species. Their will, their rage, their ability to adapt, it had left scars. Now those scars were bleeding again. Inside Earth's deep command room, Dr. Ellen worked on the next signal burst. "We're preparing a second message," she said. "This time, it'll go deeper into uncharted space." Ray glanced over. "Do it," she paused. "Should we include the voice logs?" Ray nodded. "The galaxy needs to remember what they did." Ellen pressed a few buttons. The voices of the fallen played again in the quiet room. She looked at Ray. "Do you think we're becoming like them?" Ray stared at the screen. "No," he said. "They burned our homes. We're only answering." Ellen said nothing. She understood. But part of her still feared what Earth was becoming. At the edge of the solar system, Earth's defense grid activated. Thousands of hidden satellites turned toward space. Long-range cannons were loaded. Shield generators powered up around major cities. The system was alive, glowing with quiet fury. Humanity was not preparing for peace. It was preparing for war, and it was not afraid. The Council scouts reached the edge of the solar system. They expected to find a weak world, barely protected. Instead, they found silence. Their signals were jammed. Their ships were pulled apart by gravity mines. One by one, they vanished. Back at the Council, the reports came in. Scout Unit 04, lost. Unit 07, destroyed. Unit 11, vanished. The Council leaders went pale. "Earth is using new technology," said one frightened voice. "Technology we don't understand. They were supposed to be primitive. They were never primitive. Just patient." By the end of Part 2, the galaxy was no longer laughing. They had awakened something old. Something angry. Something human. In a quiet chamber under Mars, Commander Ray watched the stars. He pressed a button, sending the second message into the unknown. This time, the voice was clearer, louder, and final. "You thought we would forget. You thought we would forgive, but we remember everything." The transmission, the second message from Earth, moved faster than the first. It was sharper, louder, and more direct. Where the first had been a warning, the second was a challenge. The message reached systems deeper inside the galaxy, where leaders thought they were safe. On massive planets with golden towers and floating cities, screens lit up with the same words. "You thought we would forget. You thought we would forgive, but we remember everything." Then came the recordings, real voices from real people, now long gone. Children crying, families begging for help. The sound of explosions, of fire, of silence. The people of the galaxy watched in shock. It wasn't just war, it was truth. And truth was more dangerous than weapons. Inside Earth's command station on Mars, the room was quiet. Commander Ray stood with his arms crossed, eyes fixed on the screen showing a galactic map. Each red dot marked a system that had received the transmission. Each system lit up one by one. "They're scared now," General Aaron said. "We should strike." "We already did," Ray replied calmly. "What do you mean?" Ray looked at the screen. "Look at Station 27. Aaron leaned forward. A large alien shipyard, deep in Council space, was blinking red. "It's offline," Ellen said. "We took out their central power using our long-distance gravity wave. No damage to civilians. Just enough to show what we can do." Aaron smirked. "A warning shot," Ray nodded. "We're not fighting to destroy. We're fighting to show them who we are." Meanwhile, across alien worlds, debates broke out. On the Council homeworld, In a high dome filled with light and sound, rulers argued. Earth must be stopped. Have you seen what they've done? They erased a shipyard without crossing the border. They have tech we've never seen. They've had years to develop it in secret. Then we strike first. Crush them before they do more. But fear had already spread. Some council members remembered how humans fought in the last war, how they refused to surrender, even when surrounded, how they turned scrap metal into weapons, how they sacrificed themselves just to protect each other. And now, they were stronger. In a hidden base near Saturn, Earth's stealth fleet was ready. Hundreds of ships, shaped like dark wings, floated in the shadows. Their metal skin bent light. Their engines made no sound. They were ghosts in space. Captain Mira, a sharp and steady voice among the new generation, stood aboard the lead ship. Target confirmed, her AI said. Council supply convoy, unarmed, no civilians. She nodded. Proceed with interception. Within minutes, Earth's ships closed in. They didn't destroy the convoy. They disabled it quietly and perfectly. The supply ships were left floating, powerless but untouched. And then, the Earth fleet disappeared back into the dark. The message was clear. We are watching. We are near. And we can reach you anytime, Doctor. Ellen was working on the next piece of the message. This time, she wanted to show Earth's strength, not just its pain. Ray stood beside her. What are you adding? Images of our technology. Not too much, just enough, Ray nodded. They need to see how far we've come. Ellen hesitated. Do you think they'll understand? Some will, he said. The others, we'll show them in battle. Meanwhile, Earth's final transmission device was nearly complete. It would be the largest signal Earth had ever sent. A message so powerful, so wide, it could be heard across the entire galaxy. And this one would include something new, the faces of every lost colonist. Every child, every elder, every name. No one would be forgotten. This wasn't just war. This was memory. In the outer systems, panic turned into motion. Alien worlds that once trusted the Council started closing their borders. Some removed Council officers from their planets. Others sent quiet messages to Earth. We did not support the attacks. We only followed orders. We seek peace. Ray read these messages with interest. Should we trust them? Aaron asked. We'll decide later, Ray said. For now, we let the message work. The Council made its next move. They sent a massive war fleet toward Earth system. 500 ships. All armed, all dangerous. They called it Operation Silence. They thought they would crush Earth once and for all. But Earth was ready. As the Council fleet moved closer, it passed through empty space. Or so they thought. In the dark, hidden behind asteroid fields and gas clouds, Earth's defense systems waited. Dozens of Council ships went offline at once. No explosion, no attack. Just sudden silence. Their engines froze. Their navigation failed. Their weapons shut down. It was the work of Earth's newest tech. Pulse disruptors powered by deep space quantum cores. The Council had never seen anything like it. Inside the lead ship, a Council captain screamed, "What's happening? We've lost control of all systems. Backup, gone. Communication? Only one message is coming through." The screen lit up with Earth's emblem, a simple blue and white symbol of home. And then, Ray's voice. "You are entering human space. You are not welcome. Turn back now. This is your final warning." Silence followed. The captain hesitated. "Retreat." He finally said. "Back on Earth." Cheers rose across the planet. For the first time in decades, Earth had stood tall, and the galaxy saw it. Children laughed. Elders cried. Soldiers smiled. Ellen looked at Ray. "The message is spreading faster than any ship." Ray nodded. "Because it's not just a message, it's the truth." The retaliation. The galaxy had heard Earth's message. Now it was Earth's turn to listen. The Council had retreated for now. Their great fleet, once feared across 1,000 systems, had turned back in silence after Earth's warning. But silence didn't mean surrender. The Council was angry. And angry empires do not forgive. In secret, they began building a second fleet. This one larger, faster, and more brutal. They called it the Purge. Its goal was simple: erase Earth completely. But Earth was already watching. In the command station on Mars, Commander Ray stood beside a large screen showing deep space scans. "They're moving again," said Dr. Ellen, pointing to several blinking red markers. "A new fleet. Looks like over 1,000 warships." General Aaron cracked his knuckles. "Let them come. We're ready." Ray stayed quiet for a moment, eyes locked on the screen. "Send a signal to Fleet Shadow. Tell them to begin Operation Mirror." Far across the galaxy, in a region of dead stars, Earth's secret fleet, Fleet Shadow, activated. These ships were unlike any the galaxy had seen. Their hulls were dark and smooth. They used no standard fuel. Their power came from fusion cores, wrapped in magnetic shells. They could vanish into space, appear in strange locations, and strike before anyone could react. Captain Mira, commander of Fleet Shadow, received the order. "Operation Mirror is go," the AI said. Mira smiled. "Time to return the favor." Fleet Shadow began its journey, heading not to defend Earth, but to strike the Council where it hurt the most, their homeworld. Meanwhile, panic returned to the Galactic Council. Leaders who once laughed at Earth now shouted at each other. No one wanted to take responsibility. No one had answers. "They've taken down our warships without firing a single shot. They are attacking from inside our borders. We're losing control." Some tried to send messages to Earth, asking for peace talks. Others demanded war. But Ray had already made his decision. This wasn't about talking anymore. This was about justice. In orbit above Earth, Earth's main fleet prepared to launch. Thousands of ships lined up in silence. Sleek fighters, heavy carriers, and silent drones. Inside them were the best pilots Earth had trained. Soldiers who grew up under the shadow of betrayal. Engineers who built their weapons by hand. AI systems that had studied every known Council ship. This was not revenge. This was history correcting itself. Ray stepped onto the bridge of the flagship, Valor 1. "All systems ready." The captain said. Ray gave the order, "Engage." The Earth fleet jumped into deep space, heading straight toward the center of the Galactic Council. On the way, Earth's ships passed through sectors where Council rule was already breaking apart. On one planet, civilians waved at the human ships. On another, soldiers lowered their weapons and let Earth's fleet pass. Many had seen the transmissions. Many believed Earth was right. Some even whispered a new name for humans: the Silent Flame, a fire that burned quietly but never died. Back on the Council homeworld, alarms screamed. Fleet Shadow had arrived. Without warning, Earth's stealth ships entered the system. They didn't fire on cities or civilians. Instead, they hit only military targets: command towers, fuel lines, communication arrays. They moved in the shadows, struck with precision, then disappeared again. The Council was paralyzed. "They're already here," screamed a Council officer. "Our defense net is down." "How did they get through?" "They bent space around our scanners." "We never saw them coming." Buildings fell. Ships exploded. Satellites dropped from orbit. And then, Earth's main fleet arrived. The sky above the Council homeworld turned dark. Earth's warships broke through the atmosphere. Fighters flew in perfect formations. Energy shields shimmered. Lasers danced across the sky. The Council launched a final defense, using their last armada. But Earth's technology was too advanced. Human ships dodged enemy fire with smooth movements. AI commanders predicted enemy attacks before they even happened. Drones swarmed like bees. disabling weapons and engines with focused blasts. General Aaron led the charge from his own ship. "No mercy for the tyrants," he shouted, but Commander Ray gave a different order. "Disable, not destroy. We are not monsters." The battle lasted only a few hours. When it ended, the Council fleet was gone. The capital was silent. Earth stood victorious, not because they destroyed everything, but because they had shown restraint and strength together. On the surface, Council leaders were brought out from hiding. They expected death. But instead, they were given a choice. Commander Ray stood before them, calm and quiet. "Now you know what fear feels like," he said. "Now you understand the pain you caused. But we are not here to become you." He handed them a small device. "This holds our terms for peace. You can accept it, or fall alone." Back on Earth, the planet celebrated. People filled the streets. Bells rang. Screens played the final message that had been sent to the galaxy. Just before the battle, "To those who remained silent during our suffering, we do not seek revenge. But we will never be silent again. We are Earth, we are humanity, and we remember." The message ended with the image of Earth's flag waving above stars. Ray stood in orbit, looking down at the Council world. Dr. Elon joined him. "It's over?" Ray nodded, almost. "Did we win?" "We didn't just win," he said. "We changed everything." The aftermath of the war was over. The Council fleet had fallen. Their weapons had failed. Their power had crumbled in the face of something they never truly understood, the strength of human will. But Earth did not raise its flag in victory like a conqueror. Instead, it stood quietly among the stars, letting the galaxy decide what kind of ending this would be. Commander Ray stood on the bridge of Valor 1, looking down at the Council homeworld. Smoke still rose from broken towers, but the skies were calm now. Earth's fleet had returned to orbit. No more shots were fired. Beside him, Dr. Ellen read the latest reports. 15 worlds have sent messages, she said. They agree to Earth's peace terms. 4 more are asking for talks. Ray gave a small nod. And the Council? They signed the agreement. General Aaron stepped forward, his voice serious. We should finish them. Wipe them out completely. That's what they tried to do to us. Ray turned to him. And if we do that, we become them. Aaron was silent. Ray added, we didn't fight this war to destroy. We fought to be heard. And now, the galaxy is listening. Earth's peace terms were simple. No more attacks on human space. No more lies from the Council. No more silence. In return, Earth would not punish the galaxy. It would not take over worlds. It would not become a ruler. It would become a guide. And so for the first time in history, Earth was given a seat at the center of galactic power, not as a servant, not as an enemy, but as an equal. Back on Earth, life began to change. The skies were filled with returning ships. Soldiers came home. Families ran to welcome them, hugging tightly with tears in their eyes. Across cities, lights danced at night. Music played in the streets. The world, once quiet and broken, now felt alive again. In schools, children learned not just of war, but of peace, of strength, of unity. They were taught the full story. The pain, the loss, and the courage. Memorials were built in every city. One for the lost colonies, one for the brave who never returned, and one for the future to remind people what it cost to be free. In the Council's former chambers, now rebuilt into a new hall of balance, leaders from across the galaxy gathered. No longer the Galactic Council. It was now called the Accord. Earth did not rule it, but Earth's voice led the first meeting. Commander Ray stood before the galaxy, not with weapons, but with words. We do not wish to control anyone, he said. We only ask for fairness, for truth, for a future where no voice is silenced, no world ignored, no people betrayed. The hall was quiet. Then, one by one, The other leaders stood and nodded. The past could not be changed. But the future was. Still theirs to shape. Dr. Ellen, now part of the Accord's new Science Council, began working with alien researchers. Together, they shared technology, ideas, and knowledge. No more secrets. No more fear. She stood in a lab on a peaceful moon, teaching young minds, human and alien, the laws of space, energy, and compassion. We are all different, she said. But the stars belong to all of us. General Aaron returned to Earth, where he took charge of the new Defense Academy. He taught soldiers how to protect without hate, how to be strong but wise, how to fight if they must, but only when there is no other choice. He placed his brother's name on the wall of honor. He no longer carried anger, only purpose. And Commander Ray? He disappeared from the spotlight. Some said he went back to the ocean he loved as a child. Others believed he walked among the stars in a small ship, watching silently. No one truly knew. But one thing was certain, his voice had become the voice of Earth, and his message had become history. Years passed. The galaxy changed. Worlds once divided now worked together. Species that had never spoken began to trade. Fear gave way to respect. The Accord grew stronger, not through force, but through shared pain and shared hope. And across it all, one phrase remained. You chose this war. But we chose how it ended. It was printed on buildings, painted on ships, carved into stone, not as a threat, but as a reminder. One day, a signal was sent from Earth. Not a warning, not a call to arms, just a message, soft, calm, and full of light. To those who hear us, we are Earth, we are human, we are not perfect. But we are still here, still standing, still listening. If you come in peace, you are welcome. If you bring war, you already know the answer. And far away, in the dark corners of space, where new life was just beginning and old fears still lingered, that message echoed. A final message. A lasting truth. Not a goodbye, but a promise. The end.